Okay, episode 7. How about cheers?
Oh yeah, that's a cheers.
Yeah. Alright.
So apparently with this drop of whiskey, I own a lifetime lease on a piece of land in the Islay region of Scotland.
What drop is it?
It's a Redford.
Yeah, that's one. As we go into the new season now, like I'm just changing all my clothes over, packing them away. Have you packed your seasonal clothes away now?
I don't actually do that normally because I don't really have a range, a big enough range. Yeah.
That makes me think, like, just men and fashion. Like, what's your take on that, men and fashion?
Yeah, it's hard. I've never been particularly fashionable, and I think, but
nor have I. Yeah, I haven't either.
No, but I think definitely in the past, I don't know, like even 50 years, I guess, like there's always been an emphasis on men's fashion, but especially the last couple of years, like I don't know, this there's a lot of different trends going around at the moment. You know, I don't know, it's pretty consistent.
Yeah, you'd even dare say, like at least in Australian context, men are dressing very well nowadays. It's not probably always been the case, probably because we've had this hard underbelly of the labourer, and it's been accepted that you just wear very, very casual stuff. But nowadays,
you've got to be functional clothing, right? But these days, it's not just so much about function; it's also about obviously style and that sort of stuff. But do you think you dress of the style of a the modern man?
I'm out of sync. I just dress whatever's.
You know, with those tight jeans. You wear some of those tight jeans.
I have a couple of them, but I don't wear them that often. Only on a specific outing. I guess.
How tight? Like skin tight?
Oh, I'm not that tight. How about you? How tight do you go?
Like, no, pretty loose. I mean, I guess at the end of the day, like, males and females have to deal with this because, like, fashion changes so much, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
one of the things I guess we always see as men is suits, where you might buy, like, an amazing suit
it goes out
10 years ago, and then you try to wear it now, it's just like, oh, I can't really wear it because it just looks really old.
Yeah, that's the case for me. I've got, like, a number of suits from my corporate days, and I don't wear them anymore because they're just basically a very big block style, even though in those days it was still considered slim. But today's cuts are totally different.
It's like ultra slim, like it's ultra tight fitting and stuff. So.
Well, now it's very they design it, you know, so there's an in cut around the torso, so it's very different. But do you think you're governed, like when you buy clothes? What's the number one principle? Are you governed by functionality or? Like what's your?
Normally, I'm governed by functionality, but I guess these days the way I look at it is if there's a gap in my wardrobe, if there's something that that I might need, then that's a good way to approach it. I was actually going to ask you what you thought about like dressing your age. How important is that? Because like you said, if you get things that are timeless, if you have a timeless suit,
it carries
then
over.
You can wear that anytime, and you know, and that's great. So what's your favourite timeless item that you've got, for example?
Well, black t-shirt. You can't go wrong with black t-shirt. It'll be in forever.
The Dana White look.
No, it's just a look that's sort of good, especially if you've got like just the average body. You know, it's clean, it's sharp. You know, so that's the kind of thing. Anyway, you've been working pretty hard lately, so.
Oh yeah. No, it's been pretty busy lately. Been pretty under the pump.
Because of
I've had to lop some heads off. I've had to.
It's tough because in your role as a manager, you've had to take care of the firing of people as well as the hiring of people.
Yeah.
Can you address one? Let's address the negative first. What's the firing like?
Yeah, well, I've never actually really. Well, I have fired someone before, but it was in a much different role. But
this is for a particular.
Yeah, so here, like, I'm basically firing this guy that's working remotely for us. So. You know, he's based out of
you're a faceless assassin.
Pakistan. Yeah, exactly right. So you know, when you fire someone, I guess you've always got those few options. Like I would say face to face. I don't know if you agree. Would that be the best option if you're going to fire someone?
I think face to face is usually better.
Yeah, because it shows mutual respect, sort of thing. And second to that, though, obviously I can't do that because I'm remote. So I figured, well, you know, having a phone call is a good idea. You know, now phone call with video, is that important? Do you think?
No, as long as you have some kind of verbal communication. Yeah. I don't know if you need a video.
So there was a time where I was contemplating just sending the old email to this guy.
You can't send an email to a guy.
Yeah. And well, you know, see, okay, I'll put it in context for you though.
Yeah, it depends on the
reason. I
couldn't
reach this guy for 12 days on Skype or on any live.
Ooh, was this worker potentially avoiding the situation?
Well, possibly, but like you know, they had their own reasons or whatever, but
that's true.
The fact of the matter was I couldn't actually contact them to have a chat, and I needed to have this chat. Like, it was very important.
Did you have a deadline within which you wanted to fire him?
Well, after about a week, I was going, well, this guy's not even around, so we need to get someone else. So I had to do it. So at the end of the day, like, I had to put things into play,
but yeah.
So yeah, what about you? Have you had experience with hiring, firing, that sort of stuff?
Yeah, I've had to hire a few people in teaching. I did a few stints as a head teacher, and it was interesting because sometimes you just take whoever's out there on offer because you need students covered.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, sometimes you got to be a little bit more critical in the process.
Yeah.
But what's interesting, it's not so much hiring and firing. I find that, to be honest, relatively easy. I think the actual difficult part is the ongoing management of people in a role. And I think, one thing that's really interesting, people often say that the best managers aren't those ultra-diplomatic conflict avoiders. Because you get a lot of that style of management. They don't make anyone unhappy. They make you feel good, I guess, because, they're not coming in direct conflict with you.
Yeah.
But actually, a lot of the best managers, they handle things with fairness and clarity. And they don't avoid direct conflict. So they will try to resolve a matter and work through something. But I think that's one of the most interesting things I learned in management. And
have you been able to do this in your roles?
I think to a degree. I think with more experience I could probably do more, but it wasn't for me because I wanted to stick with the sort of in-classroom stuff. Anyway, just with your downtime, like how do you from the stresses, good and bad, of work, how do you I don't know, like
wind down and stuff?
How do you wind down?
Yeah, well, I mean, these days, like, I don't get that much time to wind down, I guess, at the moment. But when I do, like, I guess one of some of the simple things that I've been killing zombies lately.
Yeah, that's good.
Just on my phone.
Oh, you mean like in a video game app?
Yeah, so there's a little app on my phone, I've never really been into games
shooter?
too much.
Is that a first shooter thing?
No, it's like a kind of like a survival game. That's what they call it. That's the genre. It's got like a third person camera perspective on you.
Okay.
And basically the idea is that you're in this, Walking Dead style world, I guess, the post-apocalyptic zombie world, and you're just going to build a little house for yourself and survive and go and collect resources and stuff. It's pretty mindless, to be honest.
But that's a good thing sometimes. It helps you.
Well, that's part of the, I guess, the appeal of gaming.
There's so many studies like pro and con, and there's a lot of conjecture about stuff out there. Like, it's easy to be negative about video games, but I think like everything within in moderation. So there's been some studies that have shown that. What do you think? Do you think it can develop you? Or?
Oh, look, I think it definitely has certain benefits in terms of, especially like a lot of the games, like things like real-time strategies and things where you're having to make live decisions about,
about problem solving.
Yeah, problems, and those problems might exist in like a battle, with two armies or whatever. But in terms of actually, helping the way people think and strategize about problems, and learning about creative ways to overcome them, I think. Look, I think you certainly can get some exposure to it in games. I mean, it's not going to teach you everything about it, but it certainly gives you some exposure to the
apparently
nature of things.
Yeah, one of the things that people get out of games is that concept of self-determination theory. You heard of that? So it's about like basically being able to essentially plot your actions and get results from it in a good way, in a progressive way. So essentially attaining mastery, through, I guess, if I look at it this way, like I think of sports, and one of the big things in sports is visualization, right? Visualization moving into actualization on a game day, or I think it's the same thing with competence in video games. When you achieve some level of mastery and progression through levels, etc., you can take that experience of visualization and use it in different applications in life. One of the things I saw on a TED Talk was that it's from an expert. I can't remember what uni it was from, but she was saying that it's reasonable to think of computer gaming like fine wine. It's reasonable in doses and it's powerful, as well for the human body. And she was talking more in terms of brain plasticity, because she was saying when you track objects on a screen, that translates to the real world. So obviously,
how quickly,
it's a bit of a radical theory. She's saying, well, it enhances safe driving, perhaps. a dog running across the street, pedestrians that you may spot around the corner. So that trackability, that translates possibly in terms of learning, attention. And,
so could this explain how my hand-eye coordination is off the charts?
So good, yeah, that's right. You are a genius with the hand-eye. Okay, through this whole week, I've had some time at home, and
you've been luxuriating, I would say.
Well, the thing is, so this year, Oliver Stone, the famous film director, came to Sydney, Australia, and normally I'd be running to these kind of events, but I couldn't make myself go. It was partly because I guess I've fallen out of love with Oliver Stone, if that makes sense. I used to adore his films.
Yeah.
Well, like,
it happens though. It's like a great music artist. You like the first few albums, then not so much the rest.
Well, his peak period of films, sort of late 80s to early 90s, I just thought they were masterpieces. And like I said, I used to adore his visual style, and I guess I used to think that style in a way created substance. I was wrong, because now I find it actually really hard to watch a lot of his films, funny enough. How do you find Oliver Stone movies nowadays? I mean,
I certainly don't I haven't followed his latest catalogue at all.
Yeah. Films like Snowden, no.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. Obviously I know it's the story, Ed, but no, I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
And just, I haven't had the desire. I haven't had the desire for a long time to see Oliver Stone film.
You were watching a bit of Platoon with me the other day. How did you find it after all these years?
Oh, I loved it. It was
still holds up for you?
Yeah, it was such a good revisit. Seeing there's just an amazing cast and just such a good story told. I was telling you the other day that it was such a well bookended story, I thought, where it started with the same dude,
Charlie Sheen in a helicopter.
Yeah, just in a helicopter.
And
first of all, entering them, and then leaving them, and it was just seeing that transition in his journey and stuff. Obviously it's a film, but in terms of trying to show it from a realistic point of view, I really think it achieved that, because a lot of people know, but Oliver was in NAM himself. He was awarded a Purple Heart, or was he?
Something like that. Yeah, he was awarded something, I can't remember. But I guess what's interesting is the way he filmed it was, I guess, very much related to real life experience, like you said, because he really didn't show the enemy, because he felt that as a soldier he never really saw the enemy, and he felt that a lot of war films showcases the other side too much, and so he was basically limiting all the exposures that you have of the Viet Cong in this particular film thing.
What about Natural Born Killers?
Again, doesn't hold up for me the same way. No, I'm not saying...
because you rewatched this. I didn't get to see it the other day, but see, what didn't hold up for you the second time?
I still like these films a lot, but the problem with them is the substance doesn't match the style for me. So for example, Platoon, absolute important staple in any film goer's education, but I wouldn't put it on for entertainment. Natural Born Killers, stylistically great. At that time, it was revolutionary. I used to think of it as the Citizen Kane of modern cinema, in the sense that it really put forward things like fast cutting, something that evolved over the years has been this thing where, I guess, 1930s cinema, shots last about 12 seconds on average, and they've done studies to show that, in the modern cinema, I think around 2010 onwards, the shot length is about 2.5 seconds. So Natural Born Killers,
that really frenetic sort of feel,
and Natural Born Killers, I love it on so many levels in terms of use of 16mm film, 35mm
visually
film.
And stylistically, it's beautiful. I saw so many of the scenes, very, very memorable.
They're so vibrant, aren't they?
Yeah,
and the characterizations are great.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah, characterizations. Yeah, and
don't get me wrong. It's not that I don't like it anymore. I just mean that it's not.
I haven't seen it for a long time.
Yeah,
so
no.
I
just don't seem to. But the film still holds up in many ways in terms of being a satire of media and popular culture. But I think it came pre-internet, and that dates it a little bit, because the internet's been so powerful. So I think if Oliver Stone made that film today, it'd be just a lot more, I guess, important.
What about Any Given Sunday? Seen that film?
It's a solid film. Good football film with Al Pacino as a coach.
Yeah.
It's a good, solid film.
Do you like Al's speech?
Why don't you recite it for me?
I can't remember all of it, but you know.
Give me a couple of lines.
Oh, I can't even remember a couple of lines from it, to be honest.
But you've always been very good at impersonating Al Pacino, I must say.
Have I?
Set of a Woman, for example.
Oh, I'm good at that. I can do that one.
Yeah.
Hooah! Give me all you got!
Okay, I barely remember the film,
Yeah,
but
that's
you know, the thing is, so you look at Oliver Stone's history, and he's made his trilogy of presidential films: JFK, Nixon, W. He's made.
Are you a fan of those films?
No,
yeah,
but
I really didn't like them either.
I am a fan of what's known as his Vietnam trilogy, even though he doesn't deem it a trilogy. Like he says, it's just happened to be called.
You're talking about Heaven and Earth.
Heaven and Earth, yeah, 1993. Tommy Lee Jones. Yeah. I think it's probably one of the
Joan Chen.
Yeah, it's one of the greatest films ever made in terms of war. And I was watching that the other day, and that still makes me love Oliver Stone.
What makes it one of the greatest for you?
At its time, in its day, it was a massive thing because it showed the other side, the perspective from, I guess, the Vietnamese. And it also showcased, I should say, a strong female protagonist, which is way ahead of its time in a sense of, can you imagine an Asian lead actress put forward to the American film market? I mean, this was a big thing. I mean, he was just coming off JFK. People really were criticising him about it. And unfortunately, in the year it got released, it got lost a lot because of Schindler's List. I think that, all the critics were sort of into Schindler's List and they neglected Heaven and Earth. And that's such a masterful film. But I have one thing I want to... have you seen it, Heaven and Earth?
Oh, I have, but a long time ago. I remember enjoying it. Again, some of these movies, after I've seen them once, I don't really feel like I should watch them again. Like, it's just kind of like as good as that memory.
That's fair enough.
But yeah,
Heaven and Earth, I go back to time and time again because it's such an emotional journey, and it's one of Tommy Lee Jones's best roles. It's very emotional. He plays this GI Steve, and he marries the character Lily Hayslip. But what's interesting is that's an amalgam of two real life husbands that Lily Hayslip had. So, what do you think about those kind of true stories that have been fictionalized in that way? Do you like that or not?
I don't mind it. I
doesn't bother you that it's altering truth in that sense?
Not particularly, because I think it's almost doing better by the truth, if you like, because
amalgamating two characters into one, collapsing them.
Well, just because you get to tell a little bit more of the whole story to to the
story, it's interesting. To this day, there's only one Asian actor who's ever won an Oscar.
Really?
Yeah.
Haing
Ngor for The Killing Fields.
Oh, wow, yeah, Haing Ngor, yeah.
Do you know his story?
He wasn't even an actor, he was just in The Killing Fields.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
He was not
he was in the regime. Well, not in the regime, but under the regime.
He survived a few of the Khmer Rouge camps in the time of Pol Pot. Because he was a medico, he actually knew how to eat things like scorpions, etc. because of that. But do you know when he went to America, he died an early death in his 50s?
No, I didn't know.
He was murdered.
He was murdered?
Yeah, so what happened was he was out one night and apparently these three youths, tried to mug him and he didn't want to give up a locket or something, is their story.
Yep.
But then that's not been validated, but essentially, he was shot. And what's weird is they didn't take any money off him, and so it's one of those things where
but they just killed him. Was there nothing else?
Well, potentially there's a theory that Pol Pot ordered it because Pol Pot was still alive, and he spent it was alive till the 90s, I think.
Jeez.
Yeah. So anyway, it's interesting because we've been to the Killing Fields.
Yeah, that's really shocking to me. I actually had sort of that guy in my head, and
Pol Pot. So he
not Pol Pot, the
Haing
actor.
Ngor.
Haing Ngor. I actually had him in my head, and I actually thought that he was alive and well and living a happy life.
It was a sad story, because of the fact that he went over to America and obviously achieved some success in film, but he always carried obviously his experiences under the Khmer Rouge, and it's a horrible sort of part of history. But Pol Pot fled to the borders of Cambodia apparently, and he lived for a long time. So and there's different theories about that, but anyway, it's another story. I was reading talking about a film about Robert Redford, and apparently Robert Redford, he likes to bring a dictionary onto set
Really?
And try to learn and use one new word a day. Yeah.
Oh.
So I was thinking, have
right.
you learnt any new words this week that of interest?
This week? Oh, I don't think so.
I've got one for you, all right?
Okay, yeah.
Excoriate. Have you heard of that?
Excoriate?
Yeah, verb excoriate, to excoriate.
I don't know. It sounds very medical. But,
let's talk about Oliver Stone.
Do you have a context?
Oliver Stone, film critics. Well, I discovered this word by accident because I didn't know what it meant either. Basically, when I was reading an MMA article, it's about like a fighter being excoriated.
Okay, nice.
And let's put it in a different context though for meaning. So Oliver Stone, in his time, his films have been excoriated. So I guess it's like
lambasted.
Yeah, so it's like you've been damaged. It's like criticizing severely, or in another way, it's damaging the surface of the skin. So let's say you really.
That's what I was saying.
That's
medical.
It is. Yeah, so that's what you did to your head.
I excoriated.
You excoriated your scalp.
I had a scalp excoriation.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's an interesting word for the week, I think. Episode 7.
That's it. Two brothers and a mic.
Two brothers and a mic.